So it takes some confidence to call yourself an artist, and I actually wondered, why is that? What does it mean to be an artist? I think that art is the act of creating, right? The act of creating something from your imagination. So many people are doing that. I mean, that's what makes us human, right? So I think actually there are many more people are actually artists and they don't even realize that. But if we actually need to come up with some kind of rule, as in when are you allowed to call yourself an artist, then I would say it's when you decide as a human to engage in the act of creation on a regular basis. I think that's it. If you choose to create from your imagination on a regular basis, and it doesn't matter what you create, because there are so many forms of art. It can be food, it can be sculpture, it can be painting, photography, film, writing, endless amount of beautiful things. If you choose to do that on a regular basis, then you are by no doubt an artist. But I know for myself that I don't feel completely comfortable saying that to other people, which is such a shame. Because on the one hand, I'm actually quite proud to be an artist and to call myself an artist. That's what I dreamt of since I was a little girl. I loved art from the very beginning, and I'm thrilled actually to be at this place as a grown-up right now. But the thing is, this is here in the Netherlands. En hey, nee, niet de deken eten. Dat mag niet. So in the Netherlands, your identity as a person is very much attached to what you are doing as a profession. In any kind of social situation, when you get to know a new person here, it's very, very common that one of the first questions is, what are you doing for a living? And that answer shapes your identity as a person for the other person in a way. And almost every time that I tell people I'm an artist, I'm a painter and a filmmaker, the second question is almost always, oh, but can you make a living from it? And as I'm in a position right now that this is not the case yet, and I'm still working very hard to get to that point, the fact that I have to tell them, well, no, not yet, but I'm on my way. You get this kind of look back from the other person like, kind of feel, I don't know, if they feel pity or, you know, there's something that, you know, it would be so nice, and I can't wait for the moment to come that I can answer that question with full confidence and peace in my mind, like, yes, I can make a living from it. I am an artist, I am a painter, I make films for YouTube, and I can make a living from it. And that would feel so much better and give me more confidence in these kind of social situations, you know. But I'm really curious. You might be watching this from a different country, and I really would love to know if in the country you live in, if that's the same case in social situations. Is that one of the first questions that you get as well? Like, what are you doing for a living? And where you live, is that the biggest identity shaper of people as well? Yeah, so the confidence struggles. The confidence struggles as a highly sensitive person, as an artist, and as a YouTuber. If you are interested in starting your own YouTube channel as well, maybe, then this might be valuable to you. I had a comment recently on another video of mine where somebody said, I want to build a YouTube channel as well, but every time I switch on the camera, I freeze and I don't know what to say, and I feel awkward, and I have a hard time being my authentic self. And I felt way more awkward in front of the camera in earlier videos. And so it sounds cliche, but it's really, it's a cliche for a reason. It's true. The more videos you create, the more often you get to sit down in front of the camera and talk to it. It gets easier, it really does. And it also depends on the day, on the energy that I have, on the mood that I have. Sometimes it's not that easy. And but then I have the very best advice I can give you is turn on the camera, push the record button, push the record button, sit down and just be in that uncomfortable awkwardness for a while. It does go away, and the trick is to not turn off the camera. If you will feel awkward, you might freeze, and then you think like, oh, this is not working, this is nothing, and then you switch off the camera. But if you don't turn the camera off and you just stay there, try to Rio, come up, you're making a lot of noise. If you don't turn off the camera and you just sit with that uncomfortable feeling for a while, try to just vocalize your thoughts at that moment. Just try to say it out loud, like, oh, I feel uncomfortable, I feel awkward, I don't know what to say. And then try to think about the topics that you wanted to talk about. Just notice what thoughts are coming to your mind, and just practice saying them out loud. That's really it. That's the start of it. And the more you get used to being alone in a room and just saying things out loud, just speaking your thoughts, the awkwardness will flow away after a while. And I still struggle with that sometimes, and I switch on the camera and I have these like 5 minutes maybe of silence and awkwardness. But I stay here and I push through that feeling, and after a while of just vocalizing my thoughts, the sentences will start rolling, and when I edit the video, I will cut the awkward moments away. And then it seems like I can talk confidently into the camera. I think art is the I think that art is though a pet does also help to have as company. What else? Oh yeah, I got a message from someone about being multi-passionate. If you want to start your own creative business and you are multi-passionate, should you choose just one of those things to create your business on, or can you actually do multiple things? And I wish I nee, niet bijten. I really wish I would have the perfect answer for you, but I don't, because that's something I struggle with myself still quite a lot. But I think after trying now to get my business running for quite some years, almost, yeah, for 9 years now. For 9 years I've been trying so many different things, and yeah, if I would start over again, I would do it differently. I would give myself the advice to choose one, especially in the beginning, choose one thing first. Yeah, I know, it's it's stupid because I started this channel. My very first video that I made might be kind of embarrassing now, but the very first video I made was about being multi-passionate and the thought of that I think that it's wrong to make myself choose only one thing, and that it's not really possible. And because yeah, it seems like an impossible task for me to just choose one thing. But now I would give myself the advice to, in the beginning of creating that business, to choose actually one thing and to focus on getting that right and to getting that thing rolling and to build the confidence in that one space. When you create income with that one thing and it starts flowing, it starts rolling and the money starts coming in, then I think it's the time to look, okay, now I have the money that I need, and the peace that I the confidence and the peace to actually expand and goodness, how can I make a video with you being so wild? Then at that point I would advise to expand to your other passions and see how they can even enrich your business, but it's incredibly hard. It is. I still haven't I still haven't managed to do that. I promised myself that I would focus on YouTube as my main goal. But the beautiful thing about YouTube is that I can still paint because I just cannot let go of it, you know. I started multiple things and I brought them so far that I cannot let go now, I feel. And so yeah, if I would start over again, I might do it differently. But now I'm at that point that I'm mainly doing those two things, my YouTube videos, which have my main focus right now, and painting. And the beautiful thing about creating YouTube videos is that I can film myself while I am creating art and while I am painting. So the videos can be about the other thing, and so I kind of secretly still have two passions going on. But yeah, somebody noticed that on my website I also offer the service of being a videographer, and that people can hire me to film their slow living vacation rentals, because I'm also very excited and passionate about beautiful places in nature where you can stay, where you can calm down and connect to Mother Earth again and to yourself. And I love to be in those places and I love to film them. And then I suddenly had the idea, oh my god, I can also I started with just making YouTube videos in those kind of places, and then I thought, yeah, but I could also offer that as a service to people, because I guess I'm able to make films. So that's another thing I put on my website. So officially I am doing at least 3 things, and once I put it on there, I immediately, a few days later, thought like, oh my god, what have I done? Shouldn't my website just really focus on my artwork and selling that? And now I have that other thing on there as well, and maybe that's really stupid and marketing wise a really bad idea. I don't know. But yeah, because the thing is, whatever you add to your business, if you want to make it work, you have to put effort and energy in it to market it and to sell that thing, whether it's a product or a service. And yeah, that costs time and effort, and you're making it unnecessarily hard for yourself if you have more than one thing going on. It's already, I mean, it's already so hard to get just one thing right, and to figure out one thing, to figure out how YouTube really works and to make that work for you, or to figure out how the art world works and to make that happen for yourself with Instagram and launches and creating collections. And everything, there's so much to it, you know. So the more you add, the more difficult it will become, and I guess I made it difficult for myself. But my husband gave me some comforting advice. He said, well, it's not a problem that you have that on your website, that service as a videographer. You can just choose to not put energy into marketing it right now. And if someone stumbles upon it on your website and they think, ooh, I would actually like to hire her, then that's a bonus, you know. That's nice, but I don't have to push energy into it right now if I choose to focus on YouTube and on painting mainly. So that's that, and I'm really passionate at the moment about increasing my confidence as an artist, as a painter. And therefore I decided to Je valt nog van de bank zo met je hoofd. Ja. And therefore I decided to, kind of lock myself up in my studio a little bit, for as much as possible, and to paint and create as much as I can. Somebody left a comment actually in my video where I said that as well, that this is such a stupid idea and that I shouldn't lock myself in my studio and create. I should go out into the world and leave the safe bubble of my studio and get inspired outside. But I very much disagree because I feel very inspired and I feel like I've been out there and I experienced stuff, and I don't feel a lack in that space. And what I really need is to feel more confident in my creation process. And I think really the only way to get there is to just be in the studio and create and not get myself distracted from the outside world. So I won't go to museums right now, and I won't go to exhibitions, and I try my best to not look at other artists on Instagram too often, which is really hard. It's very hard because I love seeing what other people create. I do, and I love following so many beautiful creative souls on Instagram, and I love seeing what they're at and all their new works and beautiful presentations and stuff. Anyway, so that's a hard one for me, but I really need to, I know that I need to put a bit of focus blinds on my own work, to really connect with it and work from out my own soul, and to really tune into my own style, I guess, and my own stories that I want to tell through my art. Actually, a dream of mine is to go on an artist retreat. That would be just, I think that would be amazing. I would love that, to just focus on my paintings and focus on my artwork for a couple of weeks, maybe months in a row. I think that could speed up the process so much and bring me closer to that inner confidence much quicker. But to go on a retreat seems impossible for me right now because I have a puppy on my lap, a 7-month-old puppy who is already quite huge. And I have a husband and I have 2 kids, and I don't want to be away from them for multiple weeks, and I don't feel like it's fair to them. I don't feel like that's a possibility, and I don't want it actually. So how do I say that? I do want the retreat as the artist in me wants it, but the mother in me doesn't. You know? So what I came up with to have a solution for this dilemma is to give myself a little bit of a retreat in my own studio and to give myself that space and time to create as much as possible there. Yeah, so I'm hosting my own personal little retreat in my little art room at home. That's my solution.
I need to share one more thought with you on the topic of being multi-passionate. It's an issue that actually goes much deeper than just being able to choose one of your passions to master. Because even if I decide that I'm going to focus on creating artwork, then I'll immediately enter the next level of decision making. I, for example, love creating paintings with earth pigments, but I also love creating collages with natural materials. So once again, I could not choose one thing. And probably, I'm not 100% sure, but probably if you would be able to focus on a very specific style of painting and a very specific color palette, and you do just that over and over again and share that on social media, then you will attract the people that like that specific type of art. They will follow you for that work. It becomes easier for the algorithm to serve your work to the right people, and selling will become easier. Now, I was hopping a lot from doing paintings and then creating collages back and forth. I had some sales every once in a while, but nothing stable. My Instagram growth is super slow, but that's also because I'm quite bad at posting there regularly. The thing is, if you do just that one thing that you become known for, success will probably come faster. But it also comes with the danger of you getting bored of what you create, or you feel trapped within that specific box you created. You feel trapped by what your audience is expecting of you now, and it becomes harder to try new things. So, what is the right way to go? I don't know, honestly. Is there even a right way? You know, sometimes the best thing is not to wait for your confidence to appear, but to do the things you desire anyway. So many times when I didn't have the confidence, but I had the courage to reach out to people and ask whether they would be interested in collaborating with me, the most beautiful things happened. And this week I brought a selection of my artworks to a space so beautiful and so soulful. It is a dream come true for me to have my art within that space. So please remember this. if you don't feel confident right now, don't worry. I believe that confidence will come to us with time. The only thing we need right now is courage. The courage to be seen, to be heard, to reach out to people, to be curious and to dare to ask questions. Maybe we are closer to our dreams than we think if we just have the courage to take action on what's important to us.